Hey friends, Sean from Draft Therapy here, and on today's review for you, insert outdated slang here. Woot Stout is an 11.5% imperial stout brewed with pecans, wheat, and rye aged in bourbon barrels from Stone Brewing Company in Escondido, California. We got that bling today on today's edition of the Cellar Dive, where I check out some old beers from my collection to see if they're still good or if they're just eh. This is the famous, maybe infamous, I don't know, Woot Stout, which is a collaboration between Fark.com's Drew Curtis, famous actor Wil Wheaton, and Greg Koch from Stone Brewing Company. I picked this one up in 2018, as you can tell from the label on the bottle here, and I picked up a few bombers and at least one of these 12-ounce bottles because that's what we're going to be talking about here today. I don't have the bomber, we got the 12-ounce, which is okay by me. I used to peruse Fark.com back in the day, hate on Wil Wheaton and drink Stone's beer, so this one has a pretty decent pedigree in my book. 2 out of 3 can't be that bad. I believe Stone still makes this. It's a yearly release that usually comes out around the middle of July. Sometimes you'll see it called Stone Farking Wheaton W00tstout. So we're going to dive in after we take a look at the label. So let's go off to the can cam. That's brought to you by Walgreens. Walgreens, it's the pharmacy America trusts. So, as we see here, I'm going to read off the big bottle because, like I said, I got some bombers here. So across the top, right front and center on the top is 2018 to let you know the year this came out. On the label itself, it says Stone Woot Stout, and it has Woot W00t with the mash paddle, stout underneath. We see Wil Wheaton, Drew Curtis, and Greg Koch's pictures here. We have the gargoyle. He's holding a bottle of beer with a lightning bolt hitting it that says Woot, and there's a bunch of broken down gargoyles along the side here. On the very side of the label here, it says brewed and bottled by Stone Brewing, Escondido, California, made in the USA, 11.5% alcohol by volume, ale brewed with pecan, wheat, and rye, 1/4 aged in bourbon barrels. And then if we turn it around to the back here, with all the lovely wording on here that Stone loves to put on here, it says Drew Curtis, Wil Wheaton, Greg Koch, Stone Farking Wheaton W00tstout, a mind-blowing amalgamation of flavors. So this one is basically, there's going to be a whole lot of stuff on here, and I'm not going to read it. I'll do a little close-up of here, so if you want to read the whole thing, we'll leave it on the screen for a little bit while I put my bottle here. And yeah, so pause the video if you want to read it. I don't want to read all that stuff. There's always way too much stuff on a Stone bottle, but this one was bottled on June 23rd, 2018, almost said July. And yeah, so we have the hashtag WootStout. I don't know if I'll be hashtagging this review or not, but if I feel like it, I guess I could. So let's go ahead and, oh, looking at the top, we also have the Stone gargoyle up there. Let's go ahead and crack it, put a nose on it. Nice amount of vapor comes off the top, always a good sign. On the inside here, they have their Stone Brewing with all their social media outlets. Again, don't know if you'll be able to see that, but there we go. Sure you're not missing much. If you didn't see it, let's go ahead and put a nose on the bottle. Wow, I'm getting ahead of myself. It smells really sweet. It has a lot of dark fruit aroma right now. A little bit of a molasses, a little bit of like a bourbon-y kind of characteristic in there. But a lot of dark fruit. Definitely getting a lot of sweet fruit aromas. Let's go ahead and pour this. As you can see, comes very dark out of the bottle, slightly transparent. Go ahead and let it go right down the middle there. And we'll set it here. We'll look at the head here. It's a little bit off-white. It's kind of, well, it's not off-white. It's definitely tan. It's shading towards coffee, a little bit khaki color. Nice, really dense head there. Foamy kind of head. Nice bubbles, still hanging on. We hold it up to the light here. As you can see, can't see me through there. I can't see you either. It's super dark. Again, there's just a little bit of a faint color. A little bit of like a plummy kind of looking color. Dark brown, maybe almost purpley on the bottom. Head is still there, hanging on really well. Aroma out of the glass is very similar to what it was out of the bottle. Still getting that kind of dark fruit aroma. Getting it's a little less intense than it was out of the bottle. Getting a little bit of bourbon again. Let's go ahead and try this one out. So cheers. We talk about the mouthfeel first. Always on this channel, mouthfeel has a really nice thick mouthfeel, borderline syrupy, not quite syrupy, but very close. It has a nice kind of coating texture to it. It hangs on your tongue. Lots of flavors going on. So let's talk about that. It starts off very sweet. There's a lot of milk chocolatey flavors that come out. There are a lot of dark fruit flavors throughout the entire thing, but very intense on the front. As it starts to kind of settle down, you start to get a little bit more of a dark chocolate, a little bit of a coffee kind of flavor in there. I know Pete Johnston had commented on a video a couple back. I think it was the Lagunitas one-hitter Will-O-ties. There we go. I couldn't think of what it was, but he commented that coffee can sometimes turn into green pepper. That's what he picks up. I'm not getting that. I feel like it's more of a coffee. I know coffee is not really even listed on here as an ingredient. I do at the tail end. There is a bit of a nutty texture, or a nutty flavor, not texture. Has a bit of a nutty flavor. Has a reminiscent of pecan, obviously, but kind of like a bitter pecan. Like sometimes, if you keep chewing a pecan down and down and down and down, you start to extrude this kind of bitterness out of it, this astringency that kind of comes out. And that's the nutty kind of flavor that I'm picking up. It's slightly pecan-esque. Just like I said, very sweet on the upfront. That's the thing that keeps striking me over and over again, taking drinks of this, is that just for how sweet it is, I feel like, they talk about on here, they talk about it, pecan, wheat, and rye, 1/4 aged in bourbon barrels. The only thing I'm really picking up on this is just kind of a regular imperial stout flavor, but also the pecan on the finish, and then the bourbon. Anything else that may have been in here, any kind of complexity that was in here that was separated in the flavor, has been lost in the 5 years, almost, 4.5 years since 2018. Yeah, that's 4.5 years or so since it was last released, or this bottle was released, not last released, but since this bottle was released, those 4.5 years kind of melded those flavors together. So there's not really anything, and I don't know how this was super fresh, because I had one of these a couple years ago just to see how it was holding up, and it seemed okay then. Actually, I think I remember really liking it, but anything that was there that was separating those flavors to kind of give you these more complex, imperial stout kind of vibes, bourbon barrel aged imperial stout, they've really just melted together. So what you're really getting on the finish now, 4.5 years later, again, you're getting, like I said, you're getting that really super sweet dark fruit flavor, and then you're getting a little bit of that bourbon kick to it. The bite, as it's kind of opened up a little bit, been able to breathe a little bit more and warmed up maybe to room temperature a little bit, tiny bit more. There is nothing in this now that is screaming to me. The bourbon is there as a sweetness, but there's no alcohol kind of bourbon bite to it. So if you still have one of these hanging around from 2018 or earlier, you probably want to drink it if you want to be able to taste any kind of complexities in there. I don't think you'll get it out of 2018, maybe 2019, and newer you will. But I think as of now, if you're going to break this one out of your cellar, you've been holding on to one of these, you're going to get really sweet flavors, and you're going to get a little bit of bourbon and maybe a little bit of pecan flavor at the finish. All right, friends, that's been 2018's Woot Stout from Stone Brewing Company. Have you had this? Do you still have it? Do you still pick this one up yearly? And does it actually change year to year? I haven't been able to do a vertical to tell, but does it actually change? Let me know in the comments down below while you're down there. If you like beer, you might want to subscribe and click that bell, because I'm here talking about beer twice a week, Tuesdays and Thursdays, all for free for viewers just like you. And you might miss your newest favorite if you're not subscribed and getting those notifications. So until next time, I'm Sean from Draft Therapy. Thanks for stopping by. Remember, drink craft beer, support your local breweries. These guys are in Escondido, California, but find local breweries for you to invest your hard-earned dollar to. And until next time, don't forget to treat yourself to a little draft therapy. Come back for the next cellar dive. Thanks for watching. We'll see you then.